Imagine, for a moment, a forest in the dead of winter. The trees are frozen, their branches brittle under the weight of snow. In the center of this silence, a small flame is born. This flame is not evil. It is possessed by a profound, overwhelming love. It looks at the shivering trees and feels a terrible pity. It thinks, "I must warm them. I must save them from the cold." So, the flame pushes itself. It burns brighter. It reaches out, extending its heat beyond its natural limits. It says, "I will give everything I have." It turns its own body into fuel. The fire grows frenetic, a roaring vortex of heat. For a moment, the forest is warm, but the fire does not know when to stop. The warmth turns to scorching heat. The sap inside the trees boils. The leaves wither. In its desperate attempt to be good, the fire consumes the very things it loved. By morning, there is no forest. There is only silence, a gray wasteland, and the ash of a fire that died of its own exhaustion. This, my friends, is the parable of the scorched earth. We are raised to believe that to be good is to be holy. We are told to give until it hurts. But nature, in her ancient, brutal wisdom, whispers a different truth. Even the sun, if it never set, would turn the fertile earth into a lifeless desert. Today, we must speak about the danger of your goodness. We must speak about why your desire to save everyone is slowly destroying you. Do you feel the resonance of this story in your own chest? That scorched earth is not just a fable. It is the landscape of the modern soul. We live in an era that worships the golden heart. We are the people pleasers, the fixers, the empaths. We are the ones who answer the phone at midnight. We are the ones who absorb the anxiety of the room through a terrible osmosis, filtering the toxicity of others through our own nervous systems. But look at us. Truly look at us. We are tired. Not just sleep-deprived, but soul-tired. We carry a heavy stone of resentment in our bellies. We give, but the world responds with silence. We work harder than anyone else in the office, yet we feel like we are drowning in a shallow pool. We have become what the ancient woodcutters called the straight tree, the tree that is so straight, so perfect, and so useful that it is the first to be cut down by the lumberjack of society. Our society tells us this exhaustion is noble. It lies. This anxiety is not a badge of honor. It is a symptom. It is a biological alarm ringing in an empty house. It is a sign that we have violated the fundamental law of the Tao, the balance of yin and yang. We have become all light, all output, all giving. We have forgotten the shadow. And because we refuse to rest in the shadow is coming to claim us by force. Let us walk deeper into this forest and examine the first pillar of our healing, the pendulum of extremes. We must understand the law of reversion. In the West, we think of progress as a straight line. More is always better. More kindness, more work, more help. But the Taoist masters, watching the movements of the stars and the tides, saw that the universe moves in circles. Lao Tzu, in the Tao Te Ching, warns us clearly. He tells us that the world is a sacred vessel, and those who try to control it, those who try to hold it too tight, will shatter it. When we push any virtue to its extreme, it transforms into a vice. Consider the parent who loves their child with a frenetic, smothering intensity. They remove every obstacle. They tie every shoelace. They shield the child from every failure. This looks like goodness. But by the law of reversion, this extreme care creates extreme harm. It produces a child who is fragile, incapable of navigating the world, and eventually resentful of the very hand that fed them. The pendulum swings back. The giver becomes the smotherer. The receiver becomes the victim. We must also face the shadow of virtue. We often confuse being good with being cowardly. How often have we said yes to a dinner invitation when our body was screaming for rest? We smile, we nod, we attend. We are being nice. But inside, we are seething. Carl Jung, who drank deeply from the well of Eastern thought, said, "I would rather be whole than good." When we agree to things we hate to appease others, we are not being virtuous. We are lying. We are fragmenting our own souls. This internal division creates a subtle noise, a static in the blood, that eventually manifests as illness. We forget the interdependence of the coin. Look at the taijutsu, the yin and yang symbol. It is not two separate circles. It is a single flow. The black dot sits inside the white swirl. To sustain yang, the energy of doing, giving, and working, we must protect yin, the energy of being, keeping, and resting. The most effective leaders, the true masters of their craft, are not those who grind for 18 hours a day. They are those who understand the necessity of the fecund void. They take sabbaticals. They stare at the wall. They know that without the deep, dark soil of rest, the flower of action cannot bloom. If you try to exhale forever without inhaling, you do not become a saint. You die. And finally, we must confront the poison of expectation. There is a dirty secret hidden inside our goodness. Often, our sacrifice is a transaction disguised as love. We think, "I have suffered for you, therefore you must love me. I held the door, therefore you must say thank you." And when the world, which is vast and distracted, does not say thank you, we drink the poison of bitterness. The ancient masters spoke of tea, true virtue. They taught that virtue, which is conscious of itself, is not virtue at all. If you are keeping score, you are not kind. You are a merchant. And the market of human emotions is a terrible place to trade. Before we move to the wisdom of the useless, I ask you to pause on this path with me. If these words are resonating with the weary parts of your spirit, if you feel the weight of this golden heart, please leave a like on this video to help this signal reach other tired souls. And I have a question for you to answer in the comments below. Simply and honestly, what is one thing you are holding on to that you know you need to put down? Write it down. To name it is to begin to release it. And if you wish to walk this path of wisdom with us, subscribe. We are building a sanctuary here. Now, let us learn a lesson that the modern world hates. Let us learn the wisdom of being useless. The sage Zhuangzi told the story of a carpenter walking through a forest. He saw a massive oak tree, so wide that 1,000 oxen could hide behind it. It was ancient and gnarled. The carpenter walked right past it without looking. His apprentice asked, "Master, why do you ignore such a magnificent tree?" The carpenter replied, "It is a wretched tree. Its wood is too porous for boats, too knotty for coffins. It is useless." And so, because it was useless to the carpenter, the tree lived. All the straight, smooth, useful trees had been cut down, turned into planks, and burned. The crooked tree survived to provide shade for the dreamers and the Taoists. In our corporate lives, we are desperate to be the straight tree. We want to be useful. But notice what happens to the most efficient employee. The reward for digging the best holes is a bigger shovel. When you are always available, always capable, always solving problems, you become a resource. You become consumable. You are eaten by the machinery of other people's needs. To survive, we must cultivate a certain gnarled quality. This brings us to the art of hiding your light. The Tao Te Ching tells us, "He who stands on tiptoe is not steady. He who displays himself does not shine." In an age of social media, where we are pressured to announce every victory and broadcast every meal, we leak our vital energy, our qi, into the void. We invite envy. We invite judgment. We invite predators. There is immense power in the hidden. Keep your biggest wins private. Let your success be a quiet fire that warms your own house, not a signal flare that burns out in the sky. We must practice strategic incompetence. This sounds wrong to the ego, but it is balm for the soul. Sometimes the wisest action is to appear unable to help. When your partner is struggling with a problem they can solve and you rush in to fix it, you are stealing their victory. You are weakening their resilience. The Taoist sage governs by not interfering. Sometimes you must look at a mess, know exactly how to clean it, and choose to sit on your hands. You say, "I don't know," so that they may find their own knowing. This is not laziness. It is an act of educational love. Finally, consider the boundary as a fortress. In traditional Chinese medicine, our life force, our Jing, is a finite treasure. When it is gone, we wither and die. Guarding this treasure is not selfish. It is survival. We need to build walls, not of stone, but of time. Think of your phone. That glowing rectangle is a portal for the demands of the world to enter your bedroom. When you turn on Do Not Disturb at 8 p.m., you are raising the drawbridge. You are saying, "The king is sleeping. The kingdom must wait." The guilt you feel when you do this is not real. It is merely the friction of breaking an old habit. Let it pass. Your rest is the soil from which your kindness grows. Without the fortress, the garden is trampled. Now, we must climb higher, to a place where the air is thin and the perspective is vast. We must confront a truth that sounds cold to the modern ear, but is, in reality, the deepest form of liberation. We must understand the straw dog. In the 5th chapter of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu drops a heavy stone into the pond of our emotions. He says, "Heaven and earth are not kind. They regard all things as straw dogs." In ancient China, straw dogs were woven from dried grass for rituals. During the ceremony, they were treated with immense reverence. But once the ritual was over, they were discarded, trampled by passers-by, dissolved back into the mud. This sounds cruel to us. We want the universe to be a caring mother who watches our every step. But nature is not sentimental. The storm does not hate the house it destroys. The rain does not love the flower it waters. They simply are. When we try to save everyone, we are fighting against this great impartial flow. We are trying to be kinder than God. We live in a voragem, a vortex, of tragic news. Our phones deliver the suffering of the entire globe to our bedside tables every morning. We feel we must carry the weight of wars, famines, and disasters that happen thousands of miles away. We think this pain is proof of our virtue. But this is not compassion. This is self-destruction. To weep for everything is to have no tears left for the person standing right in front of you. We must learn to view the chaos of the world with the detached eye of the sage, acknowledging the storm, respecting its power, but refusing to let it tear the roof off our own sanctuary. This leads us to the dangerous trap of empathy overload. We are taught that empathy is the highest good. But there is a vital distinction between empathy and compassion. Empathy means feeling with. If you are drowning, and I jump in and start drowning with you, Now there are two people drowning. This helps no one. It creates a resonance of panic. True compassion is different. It is the ability to stand on the riverbank, holding a strong rope. You see the suffering, you understand the suffering, but you remain anchored. You do not absorb the cold water into your own bones. The Bodhisattva hears the cries of the world, but sits in a lotus of stillness. If you absorb the toxicity of your friends, your family, and your workplace through osmosis, you become a sponge full of dirty water. You cannot clean anything with a dirty sponge. You must wring yourself out. We must also learn to respect the karma of others. This is the hardest lesson for the fixer. When we constantly rescue people from the consequences of their actions, we are interfering with their Tao. We are stealing their maturation. Think of the butterfly struggling to break out of its cocoon. The struggle is what forces the fluid into its wings. If you, in your kindness, take a knife and cut the cocoon open to save it the trouble, the butterfly will emerge with shriveled wings. It will never fly. It will die because you made its life too easy. When you bail a family member out of debt for the third time, when you lie to cover a colleague's mistake, you are cutting the cocoon. You are keeping them weak. You must practice Wu Wei, non-forcing. You must allow the mud to settle by itself. You must love them enough to let them fail. Finally, we must dismantle the savior complex. Often, our desire to fix the world is not an act of service. It is an ego trip. It is a way to feel powerful, to feel needed, to avoid looking at our own shadow. Lao Tzu asks us, can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Every time we give unsolicited advice, we are committing a subtle act of violence. We are saying, I know your life better than you do. Stop it. Close your mouth. Let the silence do the work. Only speak when your wisdom is asked for, and even then, speak in riddles. Let them find the answer. A teacher opens the door, but the student must walk through. We move now from the mountain peak to the potter's wheel. We arrive at the fourth pillar, the power of the empty vessel. Look at a cup. What makes it useful? Is it the clay? Is it the gold paint on the rim? No. The usefulness of the cup lies in the space where there is nothing. As the Tao Te Ching reminds us, we shape clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that holds whatever we want. We build a house with walls and a roof, but it is the empty space inside that makes it livable. We, in the modern West, are terrified of emptiness. We are obsessed with the full cup. We fill our schedules, our bellies, our ears, and our minds. We think that if we are not doing, we do not exist. But because we are so full of output, so full of noise, we have no room to receive life. We cannot receive inspiration. We cannot receive rest. We cannot receive the subtle whispers of the Tao. We are solid blocks of clay, useless and heavy. To reclaim our balance, we must relearn the utility of non-being. We must carve out hollows in our day. Not time to meditate, which becomes just another task, but time to simply be. To sit on a park bench and watch a leaf fall with no purpose, no destination. This is not wasted time. This is the fertile silence where the soul repairs itself. It is in the pause between the notes that the music is made. This requires a profound humility. We must learn to receive help. For the giver, receiving is painful. It feels like defeat. When someone offers to pay for dinner or offers to carry a heavy box, do you fight them? Do you feel a spike of guilt? That guilt is arrogance. It is your ego saying, I am a god. I have no needs. Remember the nature of water. Water is the most powerful force on Earth, yet it always flows to the lowest place. It settles in the valleys. By staying low, it gathers into rivers and oceans. By refusing to receive, you remain a dry, isolated peak. You must learn to say, "Thank you," and nothing else. Let the energy flow back to you. Allow yourself to be human, to be small, to be in need. We must understand this biologically. We are breaking the balance of the breath. Life is a rhythm of expansion and contraction, inhaling and exhaling. The good person tries to only exhale, to give, give, give. But if you only exhale, you suffocate. You must inhale. In Qigong, the blockage of flow creates disease. We must adopt the one-for-one rule. For every hour of heavy yang-style work you do for the world, you must claim an hour of yin for yourself. This is not a reward. It is a maintenance requirement. If you drive a car for 1,000 miles, you must stop for fuel. You are not a perpetual motion machine. You are biological. You are fragile. Treat yourself with the same care you would treat a prized racehorse. Finally, we must face the void. We must embrace the abyss of the unplanned. The sage Zhuangzi spoke of the happiness of the fish in the river. They are happy because they have space to turn. Our lives are so cluttered with obligations that we cannot turn. We are stuck in a narrow pipe of our own making. I challenge you to leave your weekends unplanned. The anxiety you feel when you look at a blank Saturday afternoon? That is the withdrawal symptom of your addiction to busyness. Stay with it. Let the boredom wash over you. In that boredom, the sediment of your mind will settle. The water will clear. And suddenly, from that emptiness, a true desire will emerge. Not a should, but a want. You might pick up a guitar, or walk in the woods, or simply sleep. This is the transfiguration of time. This is how we turn the lead of exhaustion into the gold of presence. To balance the gentle softness of yin, we must retrieve the sharp steel of yang. We must speak of the warrior. There is a dangerous lie circulating in spiritual circles. The idea that to be good is to be harmless. We imagine the sage as a fragile old man who smiles at everything. But this is not the Tao. Jordan Peterson, echoing the ancient martial philosophers, reminds us, "A harmless man is not a good man. A harmless man is just a rabbit. A good man is a very dangerous man who has that monster under voluntary control." We must learn to keep the sword in the sheath. Virtue is not the absence of teeth. It is the discipline to not bite. If you are incapable of aggression, your kindness is not a moral choice. It is a lack of options. You are nice because you are afraid. But when you are capable of standing your ground, when you are capable of terrifying conflict but choose peace, that is virtue. That is the tiger sniffing the rose. This yang energy is not for attacking. It is for protection. Think of a beautiful garden. It is full of yin, flowers, moisture, delicate scents. But if that garden has no fence, the wild boars will trample it in a single night. Your yang is the fence. Sun Tzu, the master of strategy, taught that sometimes deterrence is the only path to peace. We must learn the language of the barrier. In the modern world, this means mastering the terrifying power of the short sentence. When a boss or a relative pushes a boundary, we usually collapse into over-explanation. We apologize, we justify, we give them levers to pry us open. The warrior says simply, "This does not work for me." And then, silence. That silence is a wall. It forces the other person to retreat or to change. It is uncomfortable, yes, but that discomfort is the heat of your self-respect being forged. We must also reframe our relationship with anger. We are told anger is a negative emotion, a vibration to be cleansed. But the Taoist alchemists viewed emotions as raw energy. Anger is not a sin. It is a sentry. It is a guard dog barking at the gate. When you feel that flash of irritation, that tightening in the chest, do not suppress it. Do not drug it with distraction. Listen to it. It is telling you, someone is stealing from us. Someone is disrespecting the temple. If you ignore the sentry, the enemy burns the temple. Use the anger. Do not vomit it out in a tantrum. That is childish. Transmute it. Turn that heat into the resolve to say no. Turn it into the energy required to walk away. Sometimes, the ultimate act of goodness is the severing. The I Ching, the Book of Changes, gives us the image of hexagram 23, splitting apart. There are times when a relationship, a job, or a loyalty has become gangrenous. To keep it is to let the infection spread to the heart. We think it is cruel to cut people off. We think ghosting or blocking a toxic person is rude. But if you are dealing with a vampire, you do not negotiate. You bolt the door. This is energetic hygiene. You are cutting the Gordian knot. It is a sharp, violent act of love for your own future. Now that we have the sword, we must learn how to carry it without cutting ourselves. We return to the water. We return to the middle way. The final lesson is the lesson of sufficiency. Chapter 9 of the Tao Te Ching warns us, better to stop short than fill to the brim. Over-sharpen the blade, and the edge will soon blunt. We live in a culture of maximization. We want the A+ marriage, the A+ career, the A+ body. We polish the blade until there is no metal left. But nature operates on the logic of good enough. The tree does not try to grow to the moon. It stops when it reaches the light. We must learn the art of doing B+ work. This sounds like failure to the perfectionist, but perfectionism is just anxiety wearing a tuxedo. When you try to be perfect for everyone, you deplete your Jing. You have nothing left for the people who actually matter. Give the world your B+ effort. It is enough. The remaining energy is for your laughter, for your sleep, for your soul. We must value consistency over intensity. The media sells us the image of the hero, the one who stays up all night, the one who makes the grand, self-sacrificing gesture. But a tidal wave crashes once and recedes, leaving destruction. A gentle stream flows for 10,000 years and cuts through the mountain. Do not try to save the world in a day. Small, quiet acts of kindness, a smile, a listened ear, a pot of tea, sustained over a lifetime, weigh more on the scales of heaven than a burnout induced by martyrdom. Be the stream, not the flood. This requires us to embrace wabi-sabi, the beauty of the imperfect. The Zen masters cherished tea bowls that were chipped or uneven. They saw that the flaw is where the spirit enters. You are not a robot. You will say the wrong thing. You will be selfish sometimes. You will be lazy. This is not a failure of your spiritual path. It is the texture of your humanity. Forgive yourself. To be a true man, as Zhuangzi described, is to sleep without dreaming and wake without worry. It is to be integrated, shadow and light, warrior and gardener, perfectly imperfect. Let us look back at the path we have walked. We began with the fire that loved the forest so much it burned it to ash. That was you, naked, exposed, consuming yourself to keep the world warm. You were a candle in the wind, flickering wildly, terrified of going out, melting away under the heat of your own giving. But there is a different way to bring light to the dark. Imagine now a lantern, an old, iron lantern. Inside, the flame is the same. It is warm, it is bright, it is full of love. But around the flame, there is glass, there is metal, there is a structure. The wind howls, but the flame does not flicker. The rain falls, but the flame does not hiss and die. The lantern can be carried into the deepest storm and it remains steady. It does not burn the hand that holds it. This is your transfiguration. You must build the glass. You must build the metal. Your boundaries, your no, your warrior spirit, these are not walls to shut the world out. They are the glass that keeps your light alive. So, stop setting yourself on fire. Build your lantern. Only when you are protected can you truly shine. Only when you are full can you truly overflow. If this message has added a pane of glass to your lantern, please honor this work with a like. And I leave you with one final question to answer in the comments below. What is the first no you need to say this week to protect your light? Declare it there. Make it real. Subscribe if you wish to walk the rest of the way home with us. Be the lantern, not the candle. Peace.